How's it going, guys? My name is Dave Pulliam, a full-time eBay reseller. And today, guys, we have a very special guest. We have Kiddo out of Australia. He has 8,000 items listed in his eBay store. We had an amazing conversation in this video, guys. It's like over an hour long, but I encourage you guys to get some listings done, maybe ship some items while you guys are listening to this. It's going to give you a lot of insight on what it takes to do eBay at a very high level, even if you have the odds stacked against you. He's in Australia. It's very hard to source. He shares how he sources out there. There's not too many people doing that outside of the United States at that level. So I wanted to have him on and discuss how he runs his business. Let's get into it.
I get that cash and I flip it, yeah. I get that cash and I flip it, yeah.
All right, man, so go ahead and introduce yourself and how you got started into reselling.
So thank you very much, David, for having me. My name's Kiddo. If you can hear the accent, I'm from Brisbane, Australia. And how I started with eBay was actually just watching a little bit of YouTube. So who I found was like an Australian OG, and his name was Cody Orgel. And Cody Orgel actually was one of the first Australians to really just start documenting what he was doing. So he would go to thrift shops, and in Australia we call them op shops, which is short for opportunity shop. So it's a pretty cool name. And he actually, I remember he filmed a video where he went to America and he did a collaboration with Rake and Profit. I don't know whether you remember him or know Rake and Profit, but
I remember him.
That's where my first encounter with reselling online really came from, was just from YouTube. So I had grown up going to op shops, going to thrift shops, raised by a single mother, low socioeconomic, like my mum was just getting after it, paying the bills, working hard. She worked at KFC for 8 years to put me through school. And, you know, just the definition of hustle, the definition of, you know, doing what you need to do until you can do what you want to do. And so when I went op shopping one time with my mum when I was around, I don't know, 18, 19. And I had bought I was buying for me, but I had bought a little bit too much. And I was like, listen, I can't keep all of this. So I didn't actually start on eBay. I joined a Australian Facebook group called Shop and Swap. And essentially what people would do was sell a lot of their own sneakers there. And at the time, like, there wasn't too much, I think vintage was just kind of starting in Australia, like people really loving vintage t-shirts. But this shop and swap group was essentially sneakers, and then people would sell, you know, the clothing that they didn't want on there. And so, yeah, that's where I really started. Was I bought too much at the op shop. It was like I couldn't keep all this. And then I jumped straight on a Facebook group and had a bit of luck there. And then it wasn't till, I don't know, a few months later that I was like, well, let me try out eBay. I've heard of eBay. I've never sold on there. And let me try this out.
Nice. So they're called op shops over there?
Yes, op shops. Short for opportunity shops.
Okay. Do they have flea markets over there?
They do. There is flea markets, at least near where I live. There's not as many as America, that's for sure. I first went to America last year, July. And so when I went to America, I went to LA, I went to Rose Bowl flea market, and that was absolutely massive. I was basically in heaven. Like, it was great because there's stuff everywhere. The big difference I noticed between, especially access to stock between Australia and America, is there's just a whole lot more in America. Like, I even went to some thrift shops, I think in Chicago, and a little bit in Michigan as well. That's where my friends are. And yeah, the big difference there was just the pure volume, because in Australia, a lot of our op shops, like it's obviously 80% women's clothing. And then sometimes when you go to like men's shoes, for example, there's like 10 pairs and some of them are raggedy, like they're not even wearable. And so, yeah, so in terms of flea markets, like there's one on the Gold Coast called Carrara, but it's not a flea market. It's more like a car boot sale. And so obviously you have like your common vendors, the people who are going every weekend. But for the most part, it's just people selling stuff out of their car boots. Besides that, I would say Carrara car boot sale is probably the biggest one down the Gold Coast, about an hour and a half from Brizzy. Besides that, though, like there is bigger vintage markets in other states, but they're vintage markets. So yeah, a lot of vintage clothing and not so much the opportunity there to go and buy as much as, say, from a flea market.
Yeah, and it's vendors trying to make the profit selling to the consumer directly, so it's hard to make money
Correct.
to flip it so you make money, right? There's people that are
Correct.
trying to sell to the consumer directly in those vintage markets for sure. So it's way harder. I noticed
Absolutely.
in one of your latest videos, you opened up a couple boxes and it looked like all vintage
Yes.
t-shirts.
Yes.
Do you buy like online? Do you know someone?
So
Do
yeah,
you like work
I
like that?
buy. So I found one of my first suppliers from the Carrara flea market, and I basically said, well, I found a couple actually, but the one that I'm still working with years later. How I started, and this is maybe some source for somebody who's watching, is when you go to these flea markets and you're looking for stuff, instead look for the regulars. Instead, look for the relationship. So you're not going there to try and get the best price immediately. What you're actually doing is going there to look for the people who have access to the stuff that you're after, building that relationship, showing them that you are a consistent person, that you can keep your word and that you can pay on time. And gradually over time, like you'll be able to build that relationship and just get access to a consistent supply of stock. So to answer your question, like those boxes, they come from other suppliers, but my main supplier that I buy from is local. And it just got to the point where I was buying so much that it was kind of like, well, she can decide whether she wants to go to the flea market or she can just come to my house and just drop everything off. And, you know,
Yeah.
they're easy done. And obviously over time, like I was able to say, all right, these are the brands that I want. This is what I don't want. This is the kind of stuff that's moving. Because ultimately, like, I'm not just trying to make myself rich. I'm trying to get my suppliers paid and make sure everybody eats. And then they've got more incentive to then help me bring me better stuff. And yeah, it's just, I love to create win-win situations. And I've found that works extremely well in my business.
Yeah, both ends have to eat, both ends have to win in that relationship. When I first started doing clothing, I switched from electronics. First thing I did, who has the volume, who has access to a lot, and let them know that I'm serious right off the bat. Within the first month, I had two guys locked in right away, and that's where I get most of my sourcing. But now, like over here, it's just different. Like we have the Goodwill bins, we have a lot of thrift stores. We have a flea market that we can go to probably every day, a 45-minute
Yeah.
drive to an hour. Every single day we can go somewhere.
Unreal.
2 hours, you're at a like I'm 2 hours away from San Francisco. Like
Yeah.
it's right there. That's an insane market. Facebook Marketplace, you can snipe deals on there. You
Yeah.
can meet people through Instagram. I've started buying stuff from there. It's just the opportunities are endless over here. But it doesn't mean you can't create opportunities wherever you're at. You got to work with what you got and then make the best out of it. And that's what you're doing over there, you know? Because
Absolutely.
I see the Australian market for YouTubers of the ones that do it, and there's not that many. And I noticed
Yeah.
you have like almost 8,000 items listed, which is insane. And
Yes.
Monday comes, you got 130 going out the door. Like you got
Yeah.
the cash flow, you got all that stuff going on, and obviously it's working for you. So it's pretty badass what you've been able to do, given your circumstances. You know.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, David. And I was watching some of your YouTube videos before we had this conversation. I just want to say, like, straight up, like, I can tell it's like versus like I recognize a kindred spirit because I've seen you putting in work. I mean, the fact that you had to pivot from electronics to clothing after the supplier, like, but you didn't have that supplier anymore. Like, I can imagine that was not easy, and yet I can tell that maybe you would have stopped for a second, but knowing you and the vibe that I pick up from you is that you said, okay, that's out of my control. What do I do next? What's in my control? And, just
Yeah.
documenting that high agency behavior of being like, all right, here's my circumstances. This is what I'm going to do. Pivot, boom, keep it pushing. And like now, like I saw you getting the truckloads of clothing. I'm like, well, of course you're going to succeed with that attitude, with that mindset, with just that drive to keep pushing. So nothing but
Yeah.
respect for you, bro. Like, that's
Appreciate
real.
it, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm not gonna let something or someone stop me. Like, there's always a way to do it. Whether it's gonna be clothing or electronics, I'm gonna find a way. And the
100%.
people that watch me, like, they know that's the kind of a lot of people follow me because of the mindset that I have, you know. And
100%.
nothing can stop you. And that's what I want people to know, that nothing can stop you either. You know, you got to figure it out.
Absolutely. 100%
If I
on
gotta
board
go
with that,
and
man.
if I got to go and start a landscaping company, I'm gonna do that and go hard as hell on it. And like no matter what it is, you
Yeah.
gotta give it your all and make something out of it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, man, I found you actually on TikTok.
On
Not
TikTok.
Instagram.
Okay.
TikTok
Interesting.
first. Yeah, I know.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's
I
cool.
found most of the people that I'm the coolest with. I found them on TikTok somehow. They just popped up.
Is that just
I
because
don't
like
really
you
go on
love
there.
scrolling TikTok versus Reels?
I don't
or
scroll on
like
TikTok. I don't even
Interesting.
scroll. But when I do,
Yeah.
it's like resellers. It's just reselling content.
Okay, so you've
So,
trained
the
your algorithm to send you the content you want. That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. And I'm guessing
Yeah,
you're
that's
also
how I've been-
posting heaps of that content as well. So it's like a cycle. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And yeah, one of my buddies, Job Sendagala, I found him through there. And I remember, like, I was like barely getting my social media up again, and I was like, oh, later on, I'm gonna have him. I saw you, I was like, later on, I'll have him. I'll hit him up later. But I keep finding people on TikTok somehow, you know, that are doing it like at a higher level. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well, I think,
you got a lot
like,
of
for
traction on
me-
there.
Well, for me, it was low hanging fruit was the short form, because I feel like a lot of people try, like, to me, and you'll understand this too, is when it comes to making YouTube videos, like, I feel like that is significant, in my opinion, is significantly more effort than making like a 15 second, 30 second, 45 second video. For short form, and there's less pressure there. Like, I know, at least when I'm starting to approach YouTube videos now, is that I am going in with an idea of a script. I am going in with an idea of, okay, this is what I want to say in this video. Whereas with a
Yeah.
short form like reel that you would have found me from, like, I was literally just like carrying my phone around on a tripod. All right, get 15 seconds here, 15 seconds there, and then I edit the thing in like 30 minutes. So yeah, I think there is that value of like the short form is low hanging fruit, at least for business owners as well. Like, we've got so much going on. It's like, well, what's a quick little short form content? But can you speak on that? Like how do you approach short form differently to YouTube, or is it the same thing for
Yeah.
you?
No, it's a completely different ball game. Both of them.
Yeah.
I did YouTube on and off for 3 years, but I've been this channel
Yeah.
for 3 years on and off. Posted like 100 videos. I'd post like 25 in a row, then I'd take a 4-month vacation off of it, just because I was so locked in on eBay. Like, it was not my priority. I'd go hard,
Yeah.
and then I'd come off. And doing that, I got like 7,000 subscribers on YouTube, and then I got into, when I pivoted, that's when everything changed, and I noticed that some people were doing pretty good with the short form. I didn't want to speak and do videos like, oh, look what I picked up at this thrift store, and I got it for
Yeah.
this much. I didn't want to talk. I do all the talking
Yeah.
on my YouTube. If you guys want to hear me talk, watch me for 15 minutes. And, that was what I wanted to focus on. So it was just Instagram and TikTok is straight entertainment, showing the little highlights. I don't even record probably 20% of what I actually do. Like, there's so much stuff I don't even record for the Instagram Reels. It's kind of fabricated for the views. I do all that
Yeah.
stuff. All this stuff, I do ship items. I do take pictures. I do all that. But there's so much stuff in the back end that I don't record, you know?
Yeah.
And then YouTube is just a little bit of studying, good titles, like a decent thumbnail. Like, I don't have the best of any of that, you know? If not, I'd be having way more subscribers. But it's just what I've learned. And it's just two completely different things. But they both are good if you can figure both out. You know, overall, your whole personal brand just is much higher when you get both down to a decent level.
Absolutely. And earlier you spoke about, like, I know I'm almost interviewing you here, but I feel like this is a back and forth anyway. Like, I was like, bro, like, this is cool, because it's not often you find somebody like you and I. You're 27, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're the same age. We're just in two different countries, you know. So like,
Yeah.
and it's not often that you find somebody that like you're doing the same thing. Like, I know even now the fact that you're doing clothing is really cool, because it's like, well, when you start smashing vintage, like, that's a whole nother ball game too. I watched your recent video that you literally posted today, like an hour ago, 2 hours ago, saying you've sold 1,000 clothing items now,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
So how different is selling clothing compared to electronics? Like, I know you've mentioned higher return rate with electronics. With clothing, you don't have to test it anymore. I'm sure you love that part of it. Can you speak on, the changes that you've noticed and maybe even some downsides of doing clothing? What are the pros and cons?
The downsides, I guess the upside with the electronics was that I didn't pay per piece. I didn't have to do too much research. I just bought in massive volume all at once, and whatever's in there, we'd pull it out. It wasn't per piece, so I got stuff even cheaper than I do with clothing. And then the thing is with, like, at least I haven't came across things that are $200-$300 or $1,000 or $3,000. I know there's pieces of clothing that are worth that much, but with electronics, it's much easier to get those higher end things, and I can spot them from a mile away when I see them. But maybe once my knowledge gets higher, then I can spot that stuff. But I think I'm getting everything I can. It's not easy to come by a $200 shirt or a $3,000 blazer or something. That's much harder to come by. So with electronics, it's like it's literally you deal with all the bull crap that the customers make you go through. Anything that's $30 and under, you're going to deal with some crap, like in the negative feedbacks, and 10% returns, almost guaranteed. Guarantee it, everyone. I don't care who you are. And if you're doing volume,
that's rough. That's rough when you're doing volume too.
Yeah, we're doing.
That's
volume.
Gonna hurt the store, bro.
Yeah. No, I had at my peak, I had 150 negative feedbacks for the whole year.
And they've just been slowly dropping off, right?
Yeah, right now I think I'm at 60. So
cool.
In 5 months, I think I'll be at 98, 99% again. And I can't wait for that.
I think as long as it's kind of above 95%, you're good. And especially as you said, when you're doing clothing, you're not going to have that 10% return rate. So as you say, 5-6 months, you're golden.
Yeah, I'm at 4 right now, but those, I swear 3% of that is still electronics because I still buy some.
Yeah.
And oh my god, it sucks. You get a $200 item return request, and it could literally work when you. The thing is with electronics, this microphone, I sell this microphone. It might get damaged in the package. You can package it up hella, and it might not be perfect. It might sound a little rough. Return,
Yeah,
that's
the smallest things.
It goes with that.
It's lifetime customer service essentially. If anything goes wrong in the first week, they receive it, or in a month or whatever. But I'm just glad you're doing clothing now, bro. I'm sure that's amazing for you.
Yeah. It's so with the 1,000 things, I've sold over 1,000 things already within clothing. There's some stuff in there I'm not picking up again. It's okay, that's sold, but I can't get that again. So I'm just, the best stuff that I did sell, I got to keep getting that over and over again. And my goal is to get to 1,000 things sold similar to like that a month. I was going to ask you, so you have 8,000 items listed, right?
Yes.
Okay, so how many are you listing a day? And because I know you do a good amount of volume, how many are you listing a day, and about how many are you selling a month?
So my all-time high, so just to give you context, last year I was I need to travel, I need to see the world, I need to get out and do things. Because the previous, 2-3 years before that, I was locked in. I listed 30 a day for 2 years straight, no missing. And so that level of consistency is great for the business, is great for cash flow, is great for the financial well-being of an individual. But in terms of personal growth, I just felt I needed to go out and explore. And so last year, February, I went to Korea. In July, I went to America, and I also do music as well. So for anybody who's watching this, I do music. And so I fully mix, master, engineer, produce all that by myself as well. So I run my business by myself, and I do the music by myself as well. It's not actually by choice, at least in the beginning. It was because I had nobody who was on the same wavelength. It was I wanted to make music, I wanted to build business, I wanted to do them both at the same time. And so, that's compounded over years just by putting in the work, showing up every day. So in July, I went to America. I did my first live set. And then I went to Thailand, circa October, and then November I went to Japan. So last year, you know, I was taking a whole lot of flights, changing time zones. My sleep pattern was messed up. So last year I used time away like quite a bit. But at peak I was probably selling 900 to 1,000. Now that I'm back and I'm locked in, so I just got back from Thailand again last month. So I did another trip. Was there for 11 days. Bro, the vintage scene in Thailand is amazing. If anybody has seen the YouTube videos from there, it's really cool. I started learning how to speak Thai for that reason. My biggest month was probably about 1,000 pieces. I was selling 1,000 a month. And then that was when I was selling, listing 30 a day. And also I was running markdown sales to really pump the volume and get that cash flow going. So that was last year. Now this year, like I'm back and at it now, like the last few days I've been listing 50 a day. I get that done in roughly 2.5 hours, and then I'll just go work on music or work on, now I've started doing content. So the fact that you found me through TikTok, you know, recently is like, I didn't start doing, actually like trying social media, until this year, until, it was January 3rd. I posted one reel and I put my song underneath it as well, which is pretty cool. And that one hit 10,000 views in like, I don't know, 24 hours or something. I was like, yeah, I got one. Like I'm going viral, 10,000 views, right? But I just kept posting, and that same reel now is like over 500,000 views. It's about hit 10,000 likes, like that slow compound, that slow growth. And obviously, like with your winners on socials, whether it's going viral or not, with your winners, what you can do is then post that on other platforms, and chances are it'll do well on those as well. So that's what I did. And so this year has just been like, my focus has been, last year was traveling and just kind of learning about the world and getting out of my shell a little bit. And then this year is really just pumping the gas on the business, on content, on meeting and speaking to people like you, David, because I think that's a very underrated part of business. Is if you are, you know, high conviction and high extroversion, you need to really put yourself out there because you have a skill set that's rare. And I think that's where you and I resonate as well. And even watching your YouTube videos, watching the way you approach content in and of itself, like you're saying real shit and it's raw. It's not like you are a reseller that makes YouTube videos, not a YouTuber that makes resale videos. You know, it's not for that. It's not just for that entertainment factor. It's like, here, this is my journey. This is the chapter that I'm in. And that's the thing. We all have different stories, but we share common chapters, and it allows people to, you know, join our story, and hopefully that resonates, you know? So yeah, I've just started sharing more of my story.
Yeah, man. And I encourage anyone that's watching it, like the people that win within social media are the ones that actually just pick up the camera and put the work in and are consistent. And
100%.
Obviously you have to study the patterns and see what works and what doesn't, but share your journey. People might be interested in what you got going on. Like, people might want to see your whole journey, you know? I wish I would have started recording earlier, when I first started, you know, when I was younger. But yeah, like, I try to do it to where I can actually be consistent. Back in the day, I used to try to have it overly edited or with a script, and I'm like, I don't like to do that, which might be like weird, but I like to just pick up the camera, whatever idea I get for the day, that's the video I'm doing, and that's it.
Absolutely.
And I don't write anything down. Like, I just go like that, and it seems to be working. But
absolutely,
because that's the way I like to do it, and I feel like that's why people follow me too, because I just do it the way I want to do it, you know, and that's it.
Well, we were talking off camera, and you were saying that like you're using your phone, and I think a lot of people think that they need the latest gear, they need the latest camera, they need the pro mic, and I would encourage you to just go watch David's videos and look at the results he's getting, and he doesn't need any of that. And that's the same with my business. Is like, my first 10,000 items I sold with a pair of iPhone 7s. only reason I had 2 iPhone 7s was because it would run out of battery. I was like, okay, once I'm done with that, let me just go plug it back in and switch to the other phone and keep taking photos. And so,
Yeah.
especially like with our businesses, is like, it's about getting scrappy. It's about, embracing the grit side of it. Like, you don't have to have everything figured out. Just if you have the next logical step figured out and you just keep moving forward, like, that's going to take you so far, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, and whenever a video doesn't perform well for me, it's not because of my camera, it's not because of the audio, it's usually because I didn't do a good job making a good title and a good thumbnail, or maybe I didn't get to the point right away. It's always a reason why, and if it does good, it's not because of the my camera or the microphone, which this helps. This is my first investment into YouTube, pretty much. That was over like $30 in 3 years.
And David, just for the people watching, how many subscribers do you have on YouTube right now? And that's your first investment?
I have almost 18,000. We're 20 away, so we might hit it today.
Unreal. Okay, so everybody watching, you can get to 18,000 subscribers with just your phone. David's done it, so you can do it too.
Yeah, I use a freaking look at the back, like it's a
Yeah.
iPhone 12 Pro that I started. I started with this exact one. I haven't gotten a new phone in 3.5 years, and I don't think I'm going to. I feel like it's my good luck charm right there.
Yeah. That's how I felt about my iPhone 7s, bro. And then like they just started running out of battery too fast. I was like, man, I need to keep this is not working.
I think, Yeah, I just got a little iPhone 11 for pictures, just so I can use this one only for videos. Because I was using both pictures and and videos. But it's just too much stuff going on. Like, you need an extra one,
Can I ask, because you're using the iPhone, David? Sorry to cut in. Because you're using the iPhone, how are you transferring photos to your computer? Like, what's your process there?
I don't transfer anything. I don't list manually. I do it to. I have a virtual assistant that the people that watch me know I've been using the same one for years, and I just upload everything to a Google Doc, send the link, and he has access to edit all that stuff, and he downloads it.
And that's straight from the phone.
Straight from the phone.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Because that was my that was my big drawback of using the iPhone 7s, because I didn't have Starlink at the time. Like, now I have Starlink, which is great. But I just had NBN, and I was having issues transferring photos to my computer until I got a here, I've got it here actually. Yeah.
Direct plugin.
Until I got I got a Samsung.
Okay.
Just like I think it's an A20. Don't quote me on that, but it's one from 2020. And it you can shoot it in square, so all the photos can be in square, and then I just plug it in, and then off to the races.
Nice.
Yeah.
I just upload everything to Google Drive, and honestly, for like 40 items, probably take me like overall creating the files and everything 20 minutes.
Yeah. So fast.
From the time I start to creating the files and sending it to him with the custom descriptions, like maximum. That's how much time I spent on that. So it's really easy. When I was doing, I used to do 180 a day. Doing that setup, and that would take like an hour just to get the listings going, because it's so much. There's so many different files, so many different boxes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to be doing 180 a day, not anytime soon. It's a lot of work.
So what's your goal with the clothing? Like where do you want to be at?
I want to be the number one clothing reseller ever. So I got to beat someone that used to do it. And
yes, sir.
It's gonna take me a while, but I got time. So
yeah, you got time, plenty of time, bro.
Yeah, I got time. I'm in it for the long run.
Yeah,
but yeah, I got to beat someone.
Yeah.
I'm like locked in on that. Like, I want to be number one, and then no one that does it at a super high level also does YouTube. No one that is still doing it. So I want to be like the only one doing that as well. Like a combination of both at a really high level. I don't want to be just a guy that does YouTube. I want a guy that is an insane eBay reseller that also does YouTube at a high level, So that's kind of my goal.
Respect.
But yeah, we'll see. I can see the vision. Well, obviously, I see the vision. I see the goal, but it just takes time. Like literally, it's just gonna be years. You know.
Absolutely.
And, yeah.
Absolutely. Just day by day, bro. Day by day.
Day by day. I
Building
just
that
know what I
building
gotta
that
do
wall
every day.
brick by brick.
Brick by brick.
Yeah.
It's gonna feel really good when I get there, though. It's gonna
Absolutely.
be worth it. So right now, we can see your boxes in the back. And by the way, guys, like I said in the beginning of the video, I have all this stuff linked down below, so you guys can go check it out. And you have those smaller boxes. I noticed you have a lot of like smaller pieces of clothing, like shirts, and you have shorts and button ups and stuff like
Yes.
that. What's like your main
Yes.
stuff that you like to get?
So 100% t-shirts. I'm actually pivoting to niche down more into t-shirts. Like I want to be doing 85 to 90% t-shirts. That's my goal. In the past, I couldn't get that because sourcing just t-shirts is kind of like it's hard to do, right? At least where I was at, and that was my limiting belief. Was like, I need to do everything because I can't source the t-shirts. But in reality, it was like, no, I just have to. It's 100% a skill issue. I just have to find the people with the t-shirts. So the reason why t-shirts in circa 2020, basically the vintage market goes crazy, and t-shirts are getting sold left, right, and center on Instagram Live. Not only in Australia, in America, UK. Like COVID really set the market on fire for all collectibles, but specifically in vintage t-shirts, that was where the market was performing really well, right? And so during 2020, end of 2020, I come up on a crazy Facebook marketplace haul, like a bunch of Australian t-shirts. I think I can give up the game on how I actually found it too. For anybody watching, what you want to do is like create like I would like to think of it as like a reverse honeypot, which is a lot of people will source on Facebook marketplace for the thing. So let's say I'm looking for like a vintage t-shirt, an AC/DC or a Metallica t-shirt, right? I'll go in there and I'll search Metallica t-shirt. The problem is when I do that, me personally, I'm slow, right? I'm not beating somebody else. I'm not going to get there the fastest because I live further away. Like I'm going to get beaten out every time, right? So the idea instead is to actually look for the people who would have the Metallica t-shirt. So you're creating like a reverse honeypot. And I saw a video recently on TikTok that was really smart in the way that he executed it, which was he put up a Power Tools ad on Facebook Marketplace. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, but you can probably find this. He put up an ad on Facebook Marketplace for Power Tools, and he put them at way under market. So then he had a bunch of people messaging him, right? But the thing is he was basically saying, sorry, the tools are already sold, but do you happen to have a Carhartt jacket that you would like to sell? So basically what he was able to do is get the exact target market to contact him. And so when I got that crazy haul back in 2020, I basically had started messaging people who were selling CDs. And I got told no like 100 times. I said, sorry, I don't have any music t-shirts for you. Like, I just have these CDs. I'm like, fair enough, right? But I knew that I only needed one yes. And if there's any takeaway that somebody gets from this is like, no matter what you're doing, you only need to be right once.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening was I got invited basically to this guy's shed, and there he had from Facebook Marketplace. I was actually talking to the younger son. Turns out the dad like had a bunch of these t-shirts in this shed. I went back there multiple times. I would have spent a couple thousand on vintage t-shirts. And yeah, that was really what set it off for me, which was I wrote this guide on Acme, which is like a specific vintage t-shirt tag, Acme, top heavy. And then I put that guide out because I was like, listen, if I don't do this, I don't think anybody else will. Because I started buying t-shirts to get the tag just for the year to make the guide better. So yeah, if anybody Googles just like Australian vintage t-shirt tags, you'll find it. Number one result on Google, Castle or Select. And yeah, so I got heavy into vintage, and then that was kind of like my gateway, my rabbit hole. What's that? It's like 4 years ago now into vintage. And then, yeah, after that, I started learning about what makes a t-shirt $1,000, what makes a t-shirt $3,000. And then, yeah, I've just grown from there. Knowledge, kept learning.
Okay. So most of the t-shirts you get are vintage then?
Not all. So I sell all t-shirts. I sell men's
Okay,
t-shirts. Recently
Okay.
I've started saying no to red and orange t-shirts and nothing that's size small or
Yeah.
XS. I've just started like I'm gradually refining my criteria because I can get the volume now, whether it's through connections, whether it's through suppliers, to just get exactly what I want so that I can then process everything faster. Because I'm sure
Nice.
you understand this. With everything that you've bought, it's kind of like anybody can buy 1,000 pieces, but processing it is a whole different ball game. Like just because you've got all this stuff, you can't. At least not at the start. It's like it can be super overwhelming. It's you have to
Yeah,
build up
yeah.
to that. So yeah, with me, it's like now I've got my t-shirt processes down where I'm listing and photographing and listing in like 2 minutes basically for each item.
Yeah, I
So
noticed that you're really quick to do 50 in 2.5 hours. That's
yeah.
insane. Pictures and listings, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
and I say two
so
and a half hours. It's usually less, just because like sometimes I like put on a YouTube video and like pick a podcast to listen to. Like the other day, I was listening to yours and Tony's podcast while I was photographing. So like that's always going to add a little time, like selecting what I'm going to listen to. But I view that
absolutely.
also as like an ability to. Now that I've done it so many times, I'm on autopilot while I'm photographing. I'm able to actually put my mind somewhere else and really learn and absorb stuff. So over the years,
Yeah.
like as I said, I did 30 a day for 2 years straight. It was like a lot of those days I was reading, I was listening to audiobooks, I was listening to podcasts, I was listening to interviews, I was absorbing and learning and lots of information. And that is really starting to compound now, when I'm doing business and also when I'm making music too. So
Absolutely. Yeah, when I need to lock in on something, I gotta watch a YouTube video. I have to. That's the only way
yeah.
I guess I've done. I can't listen to music for some reason.
Yeah.
If I listen to music, it's usually when I'm driving or something. But YouTube videos is my go-to. Uh, and yeah, so I wanted to ask you too, since you're doing mainly T-shirts. Like, I have trouble finding T-shirts that are more than like 15, $17. They are out there, but obviously it's just harder to come by the ones that kind of meet like the criteria I'm going for. But I'm open to getting into that game. Kind of what's like your average sell price within your store, since it's mainly T-shirts. I know
I
some get
like
jacked up.
under yeah. So I obviously still do other items. Like I still do jackets. My supply, like I'm not. I think in one of your videos recently, like you were like, yeah, I do clothing, but also I'm not going to be silly and pass up on an electronic that I know has value, right?
Hmm.
Um, my setup is perfect for any tops essentially. So whether
Hmm.
I get a jacket, jumper, sweater, doesn't really matter. Those ones obviously higher ASP. For my t-shirts, I'm generally at 20 to 25.
That's really good.
But in terms of like my cost of goods on those is so low that I look at it as I'm gonna buy so many, because also at this scale, 8,000 items, and you've got a lot of like items, you've got a selection that customers can come through, and look at. Like I'll have people message me. They'll say like I've bought 10 shirts. Can you combine postage? But also I'm gonna spend the next 2 hours looking through your store. And I'm like, well, go
Hmm.
for it. Like, take your time. So there is that benefit of, and I don't think enough people talk about this because maybe, they haven't tried building just the same thing and niching. But once you niche and scale the same thing, especially clothing, like a lot of people don't actually just want one t-shirt. If they find a t-shirt that's a good deal, they will go, okay, what else does this person have? What else does this store have? I think my biggest advantage, at least in the Australian marketplace as well, is that with my repeat customers. So in the past 12 months, I checked it just before this chat, just so I could be specific. But I had 5,021 buyers in the last 12 months, even with like all the flying and whatever. And the repeat buyers was like 700.
No
So,
way.
so having those repeat buy, and the thing is, obviously, you got to factor in like maybe one person just bought 2 items one day.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
even if like 100 of those people were bulk buyers, that is a significant amount of revenue you're getting from a small part of your audience. Which, if you look after your key customers and you're like, hey man, like I got this in recently, or hey bro, like I'm more than happy to give you a better deal if you pick up this and this, like
Yeah.
you'll succeed effortlessly, because yeah, those are the customers that one, they know me, they know I'm an individual just doing it by myself, And that's years of compounding relationships. So I'll have some people that come through and buy, once every 3 months, and they'll pick up like heaps of items. And so that is the benefit of like, yeah, I'm just niching into t-shirts, but I also have like, sweaters, jumpers, whatever. But if they want to buy, 5 Nike t-shirts, I got hundreds for you to choose from. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I definitely have noticed when I was doing electronics, it was the exact same thing where one person would buy 20 things, or sometimes even more than that. And it was just the same stuff over and over again, It's not like it was 16,000 completely different items. Like, no, it was all literally similar. It's like over and over again, the same stuff. And with shoes, a couple of times, I've sold a couple here and there, but I'm not at that volume yet. I only have like 1,000 pairs of shoes listed, but I know if I get to like 6,000-7,000 pairs of shoes listed, and then like 6,000 pieces of clothing of all similar type stuff, eBay just sends you more traffic. One of my videos I just made was literally talking about what you just said, that once you niche down, you just get that algorithm locked in more, and it's just like 100%. A compounding effect over time. And people look for you. People go back to you. It's like you give them a great deal, you get it so cheap. Like, it's just the other day I sold 2 pairs of Asics. Asics are one of my best sellers for shoes. And it was 2 size 14s. And the guy bought them both. I gave him like $20 off on each one just because I got them so cheap. He's going to look out. He's like, oh, dude, I'm going to save your store whenever you have more size 14s. Like, I'm going to just
100%.
buy them,
100%.
Like, I already won on that. Why not give him a great deal? He'll come back,
Absolutely. And there is that value, like, over time as well, is when you start sourcing, thinking of one customer. That's when it starts getting really interesting, because the moment I pick this up and list it, I know who's going to buy it. And once you get to that point, it's like it's game over, because it's just so easy to just like, okay, let me just keep getting that same thing, because I know even if it's maybe not that specific person, but that specific archetype. Because I think especially with clothing, is like I do well recently with Tommy Bahama shirts. In Australia, we just don't have as many of them. So what I'll do is I'll pick up the silk and the linen blends. And because that's kind of good for the Australian weather, like, light hanging button shirts, I'll notice, bro, it's the same customers every single time buying those. And they know that within Australia, like, I'm somebody that they can trust to buy from. And so they'll just keep coming back, So,
yeah. I just started getting into more Tommy Bahamas. I think last week we got like 30 Tommy Bahama shirts. And then some decent button-ups. Just because I noticed other resellers, I don't know if you know who the Resell Brothers are, but they're over here in Michigan, but they list a lot of button-ups, and they sell a lot of button-ups, so I'm like, okay, I want to have like little mini stores within my store.
Yes.
A lot of shoes, a lot of jeans, a lot of button-ups, a lot of, like golf shirts, like, not super high end, but $20-25, a lot of golf shirts, athletic pants, like Nikes, or even hiking stuff. I have a lot of hiking stuff. I'm trying to get that's what I've sold so far. That's what I have access to. Now it's a bunch of mini stores within my store,
Absolutely.
And that's what I noticed works good for me. So I'm just double down on those kinds of items,
Absolutely.
Yeah, so do you ever ship out internationally over there, or is it mainly within Australia? Because I've sold to people over there, and it's very expensive back and forth. Very expensive.
Yeah. So I also have a vintage page specifically. That was the page that I wrote the guide on, that I have the Shopify website for as well. With vintage specifically, I will ship overseas, but on my eBay, I have strictly no international shipping. Reason being is that, one, I can make enough domestic sales anyway, but also I just don't think it's a good customer experience when you buy something for $15 and then you pay $40 to ship it. It's just like, one, I could get those extra sales, but at the same time, it's like, well, you need to look at your business and kind of 80-20, like Pareto principle it, and look at like, what's the 20% of my business bringing me the 80% of the problems? And if you just gradually over time keep removing that 20% that's bringing you the most problems, which in my case was like, at one point I was doing women's dresses and women's tops, and I really like doing women's dresses, selling those, because like the type of customers are coming through and buying 4 or 5 dresses, and like I don't know whether you've had much experience with women's clothing, but some of the best customers are buying dresses and buying women's tops and skirts. So I was doing that for a long time. But then I noticed like women's jeans were kind of like not ideal, because the way that manufacturers build the jeans is like the sizing's way off between this brand and this brand. So I was like, let me just cut that out of my business. It's a headache. Like, and it's not my fault. It's not the customer's fault. It's this, it's the gap of communication, which is I can only show you so much in these photos with these measurements, with these sizing. But at the end of the day, you won't know fully until you receive the item. And that's a big problem with like women's jeans specifically. And that's why I like t-shirts, because an XL t-shirt, as long as I can provide measurements, like an XL, people know how t-shirts work. T-shirts don't break in the mail. And the measurements is like, you know, even if you don't fully like the fit of it, it's just a t-shirt. It's not like jeans where you're, you know, having those issues. So
yeah, I did notice that within the women's jeans, I add as many measurements as possible, and they always ask for more because they want to make sure it fits absolutely perfect. Especially women are just a little more particular about how their jeans fit. With men, it's just like it's a 36 by 32, and that's it. And the guy's just gonna put it on, and whether it's a boot cut or slim straight, it doesn't matter. The guy knows what he's getting. Guys usually buy what they already had. Like I have these Ariat jeans I love. If I want another pair, I'm gonna go on eBay and
just buy the exact same
ones.
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that like women's jeans is bad to do. Like I've sold lots of women's jeans. It's just that I look at my future and the way that I want to scale my business, and I think there is an entire business just doing jeans. Like I've seen people do extremely well just doing men's and women's jeans, and that's all you do. And if that were my play, if that were, you know, my focus, the thing is where I live in Australia, it's hot, so it's like I'm constantly having to ship those anyway. It's like, well, you know, so that's not my rationale for not doing jeans. I just realized like the biggest problems I was having was because of the fit specifically. So
yeah, the only kinds of women's jeans I'm gonna pick up are just very higher end ones, or about $20 and up, guaranteed, you know, that have a fast sell through. And then we'll just try to do the best we can. But my main focus is men's, and probably yours is too, right? It's just this is much easier.
Yeah. In saying that though, it is like your technology and your electronics knowledge. It's like once you start understanding, okay, a Joseph Ribkoff, a Lululemon, you will pick up that knowledge bank of women's brands that like you're silly to walk past. So there is that as well. Like you'll because some dresses, bro, like you were talking about like trying to find the t-shirts that are 200 to 300. It's like people walk past $300 dresses all the time because they don't know what it is, or because they're a dude like us and they're like, I haven't bothered to learn about that. But it's like once you understand what you're looking at, it's like you can't miss it because you're just leaving money there.
It's crazy how much stuff there is within clothing. Like there's so many nuances that make it either good or bad. It's actually crazy. And I feel like I don't know nothing still, but I just I'm gonna know it.
And yet you've still already sold 1,000, bro. So just keep going.
Yeah,
that's all I'll say, bro. You're gonna cry because that's the best way to learn, right? Is by doing it. Like each and every single day is the more that we do the thing, the better we're gonna get at it. And like you now versus you in a year is crazy. Your knowledge bank is gonna be insane. You know, just from doing the thing. So just keep going.
Yeah, because you can watch videos of what's sold all day. It doesn't matter until you go out there. You buy a couple items, you actually list them, and then when they actually sell, that's when you really know what's going on. You know, I know 100%. I watch all these people with the what solds. I'm like all that stuff. That's stuff I would pick up. It's all brands that I pretty much know. I got to go out there and get them now. Like me knowing 500 brands doesn't mean anything if I don't get up in the morning and go and grab them and get my piece of the pie, you know? So what solds help 100%. Out a lot, but what helps you out the most is going out there and getting the best stuff you can every day and putting the work in and listing it.
Absolutely. I think even on that, bro, like I'll be completely honest with you. I don't watch what sold videos. I don't watch a lot of resellers on YouTube to begin with. Like besides you,
Yeah.
besides my friends, two Aussie thrifters, like I find that the best way to do the knowledge is to go on the eBay platform, right? And look at sold comps. Type in t-shirt, then look at like area. Put like for my case, I put like Australia only as the filter. I'll search up. Okay, I'll look at completed listings, and then I'll compare that to sold listings to calculate the sell through. Like so, I'll get the number of actives versus the number of solds. I'll also obviously get the average sale price, and then I'll put that in a spreadsheet, and then I'll revisit it in a month just to see if it changed. Because that's the other thing too. We need to understand like clothing is very seasonal, and that's another going back to why I like t-shirts is people can buy t-shirts 12 months of the year, whereas in Australia like people are only really wearing like buying heaps of jeans for like 3 months of the year. So you're telling me for 9 months I have to hold on to this stock or hold on to most of it? It's like it's just not ideal, at least for me in my case, you know. So
it works out good because over there you have a massive market. Like Australia is really big, right? Still, so you can pinpoint to how it is over there. Over here in the United States, it's a little different because it's still 45 degrees in Michigan, and over here it was 88 the other day. You know, if I were to just sell with how it is in California, I'm going to sell way differently than it is for the whole United States. Luckily over here, you know, I can kind of add a little stuff that is out of the season where I'm at. It just changes in other places, you know, so you can add a little bit more, but for the most part, I feel like it's okay if you wait for certain stuff to sell if it's worth it, you know. Like if you find a really good jacket, you're gonna post it in the summer. Screw it, you know, and just wait for it to sell.
Absolutely. Well, it's not going to be hot everywhere. That's the thing.
Yeah. So there's no like Goodwill bins. There's no outlet stores we can get stuff like that. There's no rag houses over there.
So like we have something called tip shops, which is like a mix of everything you could imagine. Which is like you got TVs, you got a table full of clothes. Like I have gone to a couple of those. Not a huge fan because you know you're just spending a lot of time sorting. I had the opportunity to go to Goodwill bins in Grand Rapids, and let me just say, if I was in America, I would spend every single day at the bins, especially if you have that. Once you have that brand knowledge and stuff like that, because there's the thing with the bins is like how much competition there is for vintage, but I don't know that there's the same level of competition for eBay specific at like $30 ASP. Like it's just you can go through those bins, look at what everybody else just walked past because they're like, oh, that's not a single stitch 90s vintage Nirvana t-shirt, right? So they just go and that was funny was watching like the behavior as well as like the fresh bins will roll out, people will look for 10 minutes and then they'll go stand next to the wall and wait. It's like, do you not want to look at everything else that's there? Like, so to answer your question, we don't have bins. And yeah, I think that's actually a business opportunity that potentially in the future is like a big thing. If anybody wants to try it in Australia, which is like be the person that makes the bins. Because we get so much unsorted donations, bro, and like a lot of it, I don't know how much you know about like, you know, the supply chain of like the donations. Like a lot of the outflow from America can go to Thailand or can go to Pakistan and then it ends up in Thailand. In Australia's case, like we ship a lot of our stuff to like West Africa, and just overseas in general, so Pakistan as well. And so yeah, it's not like we don't have the stock, it's just that it's being shipped overseas, unfortunately or fortunately. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I didn't know about that, and a lot of the stuff here in the United States it just goes out. Like there's so much stuff that is untouched that just goes straight out. I found a spot here that's right by the coast, by San Francisco. Found their website, looks absolutely insane. Like, and they just fill up containers all day of just who knows what's in there. You know, there's some stuff in there that's amazing, and it just goes out there. I made a post of that I'm looking for shoes, and a guy from Pakistan, he's like, "Hey, my friend, I'm in Pakistan. We get containers from the United States. All the shoes that I would want, all the best stuff, bro." He had thousands of shoes that all came from over here. And if I were to buy it, it would come right back. There's just so much stuff we don't touch.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
It's
Like,
crazy.
I got a friend right now who lives in PNG, and a couple years ago, some of the stuff that comes from Australia goes to PNG as well. So for anybody who's watching this from Australia, like PNG ends up with a lot of our stuff. And
What's
the thing
PNG?
is like Papua New Guinea. So it's a country north of Australia. And so basically my friend's living there in Papua New Guinea. I'm like, listen, bro, is there any chance you can go to like your local clothing warehouses and just have a look for me? Like, just tell me like what's there. Bro, in the first week, he found a 90s Tupac tee. And then he also found a vintage Sebadoh t-shirt, which is like a band that Kurt Cobain, Kurt Cobain wore this exact t-shirt from this band. So my mate buys them. And I'm like, because I was like coaching him on how, like, what to look for, what the vintage tags were here, you know what I mean? So, once you have that knowledge, you know exactly what you're seeing. So he ended up, getting those t-shirts, and then, I think he bought them for like $1 each, and then I sold them on my vintage page for like $200 each. So it's like 400, so $2 into 400.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, and that's why I like vintage specifically, like as soon as you start smashing that, bro, like it's real fun. Vintage t-shirts is really cool.
Honestly, I know what to look for at this point. I know how to tell. It's just I haven't came across them. And like that, I know if I just focus on that, I could find more. But like you said, at the bins, the one time you went, it's literally people just looking for the grails, and then they step aside, and you have $30 items all day right there.
Yes.
So my goal right now is just to go one time a week, fill up my car all the way, 200 pounds, come back, list that throughout the week with on top of the shoes I get. That's kind of my goal right now. I win every single day for 2 weeks, and it's a grind. Like, I went with my buddy, and he helped me out. It's a lot of work. But if eventually I want to get a lot of stuff, like that, that's an option, but I don't want to be going there every day. So I got to make connections. I don't want to work that hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's where the flea markets will come in clutch. And also just straight up making friends with people at the bins as well. I think that's underrated. I think even though that's a super competitive environment, if you're the type of person that can go up to somebody and be like, hey, bro, like, this is what I'm doing. This is how I operate. This is what I'm looking for. I don't want the things that you're looking for. These are the things I'm looking for. If you can pick these up and come, once a month and come and pick up a bunch, like, bro, they're at the bins all day anyway. So it's like, well, they're more than happy to do that sort of thing. Absolutely. I mean, that's just what I do, but yeah.
Yeah. No, I want to, but some of those guys, I feel like, I don't know how it would work because it is their time. So it's just about finding one or two people that could be okay with that. And obviously you got to pay for their time. That's the thing. Because obviously they're already there, but when you're getting 100 pounds and they got to take it home and store it for you, that's the only thing. But 100%. I definitely do want to do that.
I want to talk about how you started. So you did event planning. Yeah. Can you talk to me about how that has helped you with this business? Because I was doing event photography before eBay. So I worked directly with event planners, and like event planners were like the lifeblood of my business, were so important, and those relationships were super important to me. So can you talk to me about like how your experience with event planning and like the specifics of what you were doing has now helped you with what you're doing now? And has it helped you?
Yeah, so a little backstory on the event thing. It started off with me just having parties in my apartment, and then it went from that to, and I'm talking about when I was like 19. So that's when it started. And then I rented out a massive cabin in the middle of Oklahoma. 1,000 people came, $5 at the door, at 19 years old. And I was like, what the hell? Started renting out Airbnbs. And then it went from that to venues. Instagram page got like 16,000 followers. Everywhere I went, they knew me. Met a lot of people and learned how to manage money. Got my first taste of like a lot of income, and learned how to run Instagram and how to get people to like show up to a physical place and pay you money or buy my pre-sale tickets, how to market, how to brand. I had my own clothing stuff. I edited videos. I did all that stuff. I marketed everything. How to talk to people, how to call venues up and get a deal going for a venue. All that stuff did go a long way. I learned how to fail. Failed massively in a lot of the events, and learned how to take it on the chin, and just keep moving forward. That was probably the main thing, that I learned how to fail, and it taught me to not care what anyone thinks, because like a lot of it was local, and then it was like in Texas and Oklahoma, and I did not care at all. Like I just saw one of my high school friends, and he told me like we hadn't seen each other in years, and he's like, bro, you just don't care. That's awesome. Like you literally don't care what no one thinks. You just do your thing, you know. And if it fails, it fails. But yeah, like it taught me to not give an F about what anyone thinks and just do what I'm gonna do, you know.
Absolutely, bro. I love that. I love that. And so you worked in the oil fields in Texas as well. Is that right?
Yeah,
so
while I was doing that, I was getting the double.
So you're doing this at the same time. You're doing the event planning and working in the oil fields at the same time.
Yeah.
That's unreal.
Yeah.
So
I had a YouTube channel for that as well. That did really good. Like a couple thousand subscribers too. And I would have vlogs and stuff like that. And I had guys that would come in and take pictures, professional pictures, while the event was going on, and videographers, and it looked really legit, honestly. Like the biggest turnout was like 2,300 people in one night in Texas, where I knew no one, just from scratch, you know. But yeah, that's how that got going.
Can you actually, okay, you said from scratch. Can you talk about how you went from 0 to 1? Because I think a lot of people that, you know, watch you or I, they see us doing, you know, well now. But at the start, like for me, event photography was, I had to show up to a random party, and offer my services and really put myself out there. And at the start, it's not easy to do that, right? And also, even with our eBay stores, it's like you and I have done countless reps. Like it wasn't just like, okay, now I'm launching in and now I can do 50 a day. It's like, no, you build up to that. So can you talk about how you went, I guess 0 to 1 on that event business? And also, like, as you said, you started, a party in like the house you were in at the time, or can you speak on that?
Yeah. So I remember, I just always had a knack for marketing, like always from the get-go. And I think we had videos of the apartment, how it was packed and people were drinking, and there was just a lot of stuff going on. I had a bunch of clips. I clipped it all together, and I was in Oklahoma. I knew 0 people there. Like I'm talking about, I had 3 friends. I'm from California, and I made the Instagram. We had booked the Airbnb for a week, and it was going to be in a week, and 0 people. I made the Instagram, and I was 19. I went on the high school that was nearby, and I looked on the location, and I went to the people that had already graduated, because they put the location onto their on the picture, when they were in their graduation gowns. So they're out of high school. I was 19, around the same age, and I spam followed.
You started following a bunch of people who had graduated from a local high school because you were the same age as them, and you were basically finding these details like through Facebook, or?
No, on Instagram. And then I just spam followed all the people that went to that high school, and I did that to all the surrounding high schools, about 6, 7 of them. And and it was a private page. It said cabin party next weekend, follow for more info. And everyone's like, what the hell? And got 1,200 followers in 3 days.
Unreal.
And basically, it was an absolute insane turnout. And I was like, okay, I think I have something here. I didn't know anyone, and that happened within a week. And then it took off, and then I did one in Oklahoma, and I was like, okay, I did it here, did a couple there, and then I moved back to California, and only the people from high school knew me, but I did the same thing. Thousands and thousands of people turn out in a couple little cities here, and then I got a better job in the oil field, because I was in the oil field in California at the oil refineries, by San Francisco, and I flew over there, and I was like, I don't know if I wanted to keep doing it. And then I went to, well, there was nothing to do there. First of all, there's nothing to do there. There's just a couple bars, and I was like, okay, it's a wide open market, and I basically said screw it, and I did it again, and that was the craziest when it was in Texas. Did it like 5 within 1 year, but it was just insane turnouts. But you can pretty much do that wherever, or the way I did it. Like you can do it anywhere, and then word of mouth spreads like wildfire. They saw the videos, like insane videos that were uploaded on there, and like I'd go to Walmart and be like, "Hey, I'm going to give out this TV during the event." Get a bunch of shares. Like I just know kind of how to market, and hype something up. And it taught me how to do that for sure.
Yeah, that's unreal. That's unreal.
Yeah.
So I guess my next question is like, I think I from one of the videos I watched, you were speaking on how you saw your dad working on his eBay, and then you transitioned to being like, hey, let me try this out. Can you speak more on that, like that transition of going from event planning, working in the oil fields, and then being like, all right, like eBay is an option for me now?
Yeah. So one of my last events, it was crazy because I had messed up my leg. I pretty much broke my leg a week prior to the last one I ever did. I was like, and I lost. There was so much stuff that happened, but basically I lost like 8,000 in one night that I had invested, and I was like, damn, like, and honestly, there's a lot of stuff that happens within that business that
Yeah.
honestly I just didn't want to do anymore. Like I just
Yeah.
didn't want to mess with it. If I really liked it, I would have kept doing it. And I just took a step back from that and just did the oil field thing. But I just didn't like how in the oil field I was limited to how many hours I got. I like like you're working for someone. You can't. There's no higher ceiling than what they put on you. And I don't like when someone puts a ceiling on me. So my dad was doing really good. His 90-day total was 80,000. 90-day total 80,000. I'm making like a little bit more than that for the whole year. I was like, damn, okay. His setup is like in his room, and he has his warehouse, like his office. It was all cluttered, like all messy. And I was telling my dad, like, yeah, I might just have to move back. And then like 2 months later, COVID happened, and I was like, okay, well, there's no more work for the oil field. Everything stopped. So I moved back. The flea markets are still open. And my buddy Colin Hayes, I don't know if you saw him on my channel. He did like $1 million like last year. And me and him moved in together. He had been doing eBay the whole time he was in college. This is like 3 years out of high school. And he was 3 years out of high school, just like me, same age. And we were like, hey, let's lock in on this. Like, let's go all out. This is our chance, And we moved in together, split a garage, outgrew that immediately. I think with the first 3 months on eBay, I did like my 90-day total was like 18,000. Just little electronics here and there. Once I met my supplier, shot it to straight 100K 90-day total right off the rip.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just because I didn't like the ceiling. My goal when I moved from Texas, I told my friends, like, I want to make more than my fucking manager because I swear he hated me. I was like, I want to make more than that guy in 3 months, like that was my goal. And I ended up. But,
absolutely. And then ever since, you've just been putting in that work.
Yeah, I've just been putting in that work. I'm not going back to no damn job ever again.
Absolutely. So I got a theory with this, which is like people don't quit jobs, they quit bosses or they quit managers. And so this sounds pretty on point. Is like there's always because it's always that idea of like sometimes when you're working within a company, you're not working for the company, you're just directly working for the person above you. And so if that relationship, the moment that relationship is strained, you're like, man, this job, I need to be doing something else.
Yeah. And I remember I was working at when I was in school, working at Sam's Club, and I absolutely hated the management. I absolutely hated it. I couldn't stand it. I was the hardest worker there. I worked like, bro, as hard as anyone possibly can for someone, and they treated me like garbage. And I couldn't stand that. like, oh my god, it would enrage me. Like how bad they
Yeah.
would treat me and how hard I would go. Like, like I just wanted to do the best for the company, and um, they don't want someone with that kind of mentality working there. To be working in a spot, you need to be more calm and just do what the person says. And I don't think I'm built for that, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I just like doing
Yeah.
it my own way. You got to be a certain type of person to work at a company, and I'm not
100%.
like a team player. I'm the team, and I build my own team. I'm a team player when you're on my side, Um,
100%.
I noticed that when I played basketball too, that I don't know, I couldn't. Like I'm a team player, and like I would play, but I just didn't like the coach, I guess, and then that just like ruined it for me. I was like, hey,
It's the authority. I'm seeing a theme here. I'm seeing a theme here, David.
Yeah.
But listen,
No.
I completely understand, man. Because like as I said, like raised by a single mom, lower socioeconomic. Like the difference with school for me, like I don't know how you did in school or how you were with teachers, but for me, like my mom was always reading to me and taking me to the library. And so academics was like never a problem for me. Like I loved reading, and I loved learning and being curious and like just improving, right? The main issues I had, I like to say, like it wasn't that school wasn't good for me. It was just that we were incompatible. And so like when I was like 14, we did nationwide testing. In Australia, we have something called it's called NAPLAN, but it's like I think they've rolled it out now. But it's basically like you do this nationwide testing for like a week, and then they map you against other students, right? And so like at 14, I was on academic scholarship, and I was top 1% in the country. By the end of high school, they give you like in Queensland, where I'm from, they give you like a score for your subjects. I did like maths, physics, chemistry, like I was a nerd essentially, right? But by graduation, like my average grade was like C- across the board. In grade 12, I missed like over 100 days of school, because at that stage I'd started my event photography business. I'd used my event photography, all the media, my complete creative portfolio, submitted it to a college, a university, and gotten into film school early. So, so in my final year of high school, I was like, well, like, I'm just not here. So it wasn't that like I didn't enjoy learning or traditional subjects. It was like I can't authority, bro. Like I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
So
school. I mean, if I really wanted to get a 4.0 or A's, I could have done it. I didn't care for it one bit, bro. I was in the class, and I was like 3 years. Like I was a sophomore, 3 more years left of high school, and I was like, bro, 3 years. Like I'm never gonna use any of this. I don't have something going on. I'm gonna have my own thing going on. I always do. Like I wasn't built for any of that, and I think why I can't work for companies, why I can't work as like a team for basketball and all that stuff is just because I like to do what I like to do. I don't want anyone having any control over me. The only one person that has control over me right now is eBay, and that's it. But it's like a partnership. I see it like a partnership. They don't mess with me really. It's a tool, but that's the absolute only thing in the world right now that even has some leverage on me. And at some point, I want anything having leverage over me. I want to do what I want to do every day, and that's it. Have complete control over my life.
Absolutely.
But eBay is a great.
Yeah, no, go on.
Oh, eBay is a great tool to get there eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. So my question was, I know you mentioned wanting to open a restaurant. So what is your play post eBay, I guess, or like what are you building towards? Like, you obviously want to be? You mentioned you wanted to be the best on eBay for clothing. Is that building into something? Like, are you looking to accumulate property? Are you looking to build other businesses? What's the snapshot of where your vision is going, like right in this moment?
I want to open up a thrift store. and maybe make that into a chain. I want to open up a restaurant, and then I want to get into property.
Yeah.
eBay, I think, can always kind of keep going as long as I just bring product in.
Yeah.
I want to have a really big personal brand on social media. Even when I get into that stage, I can document all that as well. But I mean, I want to get my feet wet on a bunch of things, but just be completely financially independent at some point. Sorry, completely
Yeah.
financially independent at some point, and just build my dream life, which is to do what I want when I want and not worry about money. And if that
Yeah.
is millions of dollars to be able to do that, that's what I want,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of my goal. And I'm in it for the long run. I can go hard for 10 years, and I'm probably going to be like 37, 37 years old. And we got a lot of time, bro. We have a lot of time, and I'm in it for the long run. We both have a lot of
Absolutely, bro.
time,
Absolutely. I think that's the funniest thing about this connection is like, bro, like we're doing the same thing. We're the same age. Like now we're just going to G each other up. Like, bro, you better be putting that work in. Like, I'll just, bro, I want to put a disclaimer too is like, even though I'm from like Australia, I would say, and I explain this to my friends when I went to Michigan. I'm like, even though I'm Australian, a lot of Australians don't think like me. Like I'm kind of like an oddball because I don't know whether you're familiar with it, but have you heard of tall poppy syndrome before?
Tall puppy? No.
Tall poppy, like the flower, tall poppy syndrome.
I've never heard of it.
Okay. So I'm literally going to pull up the definition for you right now. Give me a second.
Okay.
So tall poppy syndrome, it's like it's something that's originated here, right? It's just like this idea that when you're like a field of like flowers, and you're cutting the field down, you cut the entire thing to level it, right? So the tall poppy that stands out gets cut. Does that make sense? So it's kind of similar to like, so within Australian culture, it's like, it's kind of underlying, I would say, is like the moment somebody starts stepping out and doing something different, it's like, in order to get that exit inertia to be like that rocket to get out of the sphere, you've got to kind of fight with like all the gravity that's pushing you down. But once you're out, like you're just like a rocket to the moon, right? So it's kind of like, so that's what tall poppy syndrome is, right? And so like even with a lot of the things that I'm doing with like business and stuff is like what I noticed in America specifically is like, bro, like a lot of people are just getting after it and it's like encouraged. It's like it's okay if you don't go the traditional path because, we've got Silicon Valley where people are building the future. We've got, people hustling, like building their eBay businesses, you know what I mean? And like just getting after it, right? In Australia, I don't think that is as common, unfortunately. That's why that exists. It's called tall poppy syndrome. It's similar to like crabs in a bucket, if you've heard of it. Like if you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket, and then one tries to get out and like it just doesn't work. And so, I just want to put that as a disclaimer, bro. So, like, a lot of my, like, mentality and the way that, like, I approach my business, especially, is influenced by the US, is influenced by books written by British authors, is, like, I have essentially made the world my classroom. It's, like, I'm trying to get the best of the best from everywhere. And so the flip coin of that is, like, I'm also half Japanese. And so a lot of my like business nuance of like some of the world's longest standing businesses are all Japanese. Like ones that have been open for centuries. So like there's a lot of that's already kind of like inbuilt into my iOS, if that makes sense. So when you speak to like more Australians in the future, is like the Aussie, you said earlier, you said like there's not as many Aussie YouTubers doing this. And that's the reason. Is because you kind of have to be a little bit strange in order to escape that glass ceiling. You know what I mean? So that's why I love going to the US, bro. Because like you go to Rose Bowl flea market, like you go to the bins, everybody's getting after it, like just good energy. You know what I mean? So I just felt like that resonated with me. So
speaking of that, I had a guy come over. He's from straight up Brazil. And he's trying to get going on eBay. And he told me, he said, you know what I love about America? you can dare to do something massive and you can actually go after it, and no one even bats an eye at you. No one looks at you. You're in your own world.
Yeah.
And it's strict capitalism. If you can make it happen, you're going to win, you know? And he told me he had a bunch of restaurants and dealerships and like killing it over there. And someone tried to rob him and kill him. So he got an asylum and had to leave. He can never go back, or because everyone hates him because he was so successful in Brazil.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm blessed to be over here. I know how it is. I come from Mexico. I go visit all the time. Can't make too much money over there. Can't make too much noise, or else you get some stuff chopped off. And that's how it is. Like over there, it's just cutthroat. Like if you start doing a little good, they're gonna drag you down and chop you up. Like literally.
Yeah. That's intense. That's intense. Yeah.
And literally, like you can't do too good. You can't.
Yeah.
And it's tough, man. Like I'm absolutely blessed to be living over here. And we have to, for the people watching that are in the United States, you guys have to take advantage of the opportunities that are out here. Nowhere in the 100%. World can you guys literally chase like a dream like this in America. And I grew up with friends of all ethnicities, and a lot of them I'm not friends with anymore because like I'm a minority, like, and supposedly I don't have the same opportunity as someone else that was already from here. Like, dude, we all have the same opportunity to do whatever it is we want to do with our life. There's nothing holding us back at all. Like, we're in America, and even in other places, you guys can really like chase your dream. Like you right now, you're doing it right now. You're making it happen when it's not easy to do it over there, and you still find a way.
Yes, sir.
You're doing better than people in America right now. A lot of people within the YouTube space they just complain and how they have slow sales, but they're not really making it happen while they're in America. Yeah. You're doing it in Australia.
That's the difference, isn't it? It's like at the end of the day, we can stew on the things we can't control, or we can focus on what we can control and like push through with that. Use exactly what you've got and keep building. Because like with you, just using the phone for YouTube. With me, just like starting in my shed and just doing my listings every day, just doing the best of what we have, and just keep building on that. And eventually, you keep your head down long enough, you look up one day and you're like, well, wow, I've actually built something. And like, that's not to say that you or I have like made it. At least I don't know how you feel, but I don't feel like I've made it. I feel like I'm in the chapter right now where I'm starting to see some of the results from the work that I've been doing in the previous years. But I feel like now it's like, having had the year that I had, it's like now it's like foot on the gas. Like let's really push this to, where it can go. Absolutely.
You see the opening now. I'm telling you, man, just keep doing social media. That's right there for the taking. There's a market for these kinds of videos, there's a market for reselling. So, some people will try to make videos on stuff that no one wants to watch. There's a market for people that want to watch this. So you got to take advantage of that opportunity. And don't take your foot off the gas, And obviously with your music, keep making your music. I used to make music in the past. I love making music. I used to master all my stuff. I was really into that, Like I love doing that as well. Yeah. No, I used to have a whole studio, dude. Like crazy. Like I used to be all into that.
So you were saying we're getting a mixtape in the future, bro? You're saying I can peer pressure into making that comeback. You got no excuses, bro. If I can do it, you can do it. Maybe in the future, bro. Maybe in the future.
Maybe in the future.
Yeah. You could be the reseller YouTuber that releases a music video at like 100,000 subscribers.
Right?
Run up 1 million streams in 24 hours because you already got the audience. Let's go.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, one of my goals is for sure 100,000 subscribers. We'll see. Almost a quarter of the way there. Maybe hopefully by summer we'll reach like a quarter of the way there. And just keep working on it,
I mean, this already, bro, but like I don't have to tell you, but just keep doing what you're doing. Like, I mean, that's probably your message to me as well. Is like at this stage, like everything like the plan is now just it's not easy, but it's simple. It's like just keep doubling down on what's working for us, keep learning, keep making new connections, and then results will take care of themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. What time is it over there? It's like 10 in the morning, 9 in the morning.
Yes, sir. 10 in the morning. So for anybody watching this, we had some fun trying to work out the time difference, and we came up. I felt like that worked beautifully. Like it's your afternoon right now, and it's my 10 a.m. But I'm 17 hours ahead. I'm in the future.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I checked at 2 p.m. It was going to be like I wanted to do it to where you kind of wake up. So
yeah,
it's not like 1 in the morning or 4 in the morning for you.
Bro, I wouldn't have minded anyway. I wouldn't have minded. It's like that is the beauty of going back to like doing what you want. The beauty and the freedom that I think a lot of people don't take advantage of with eBay is that if like you go hard, you can do the things that you want to do like in the time you want to do it. So like today I've got to do my listings, right? But the thing is I can get up and do this call first because I got that freedom, and then I'm just going to get snapped straight back into it, focus, get the work done. And so I think a lot of people, whether you're selling on eBay, whether you're, even selling on Instagram or just running your business in general, is sometimes you do have to take advantage of the freedom that running your business allows you to have, because it's something that's available to you, when you want it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I haven't done anything today actually, aside from just hitting the gym and doing a YouTube video. But right now I'm going to go get to work now. It's like 5 p.m.
Yes, sir.
But
yes,
did it how I wanted
yes, sir.
today.
Absolutely.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely.
And we had a great combo. I got a little stuff to do. We had an hour and 20 minutes. So I think that's the longest one. That's so far. Yeah. Oh,
no,
dude,
it's good,
like
bro. David, just one thing. When this finishes, bro, just stay in the call. Just stay in the call because it keeps uploading. So just leave your thing on. But yeah, you'll be able to cut it and edit this later out. So
perfect, bro.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. Do you want to? You can do your outro now. Sorry, you'll have to cut that out. But anyway.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah, guys, make sure you check out Kiddo on the links down below, guys. Check out his YouTube. He just started uploading more YouTube videos, which I've been checking out. And I have his Instagram and his TikTok link down below. Any last words before you go?
Listen, David, thank you for making this conversation happen. I've been watching what you've been doing. You've obviously come across my stuff, and I'm just excited for what you do in the future. And yeah, it's exciting, man. It's exciting. That's all I can say. So thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on, bro. And we'll definitely keep in touch and want to have you on in a couple of months for sure.
Absolutely, bro. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
All right, guys. See ya. Peace.